guys, and welcome back to XepherGames. I'd like to apologize in advance for my kind of unkempt appearance. I've been on the road for the past 4 days, and today I just wanted to take a day off, but I figured since, it's been almost a week since I put a video up, I should at least get started on one. So anyway, today probably being like 2 or 3 days ago for you. So anyway, beyond that, today we're going to do a Fire Emblem video, because that seems to be all I'm doing recently. It is. I will get back to some other stuff later, but for now, Fire Emblem. And I would do a character review, a character guide, but I don't actually have any in mind. So if you guys want to see a character done, please post in the comments, because I don't actually have any that I really want to do right now. Anyway, I have a couple ideas, but I'm not sure. I haven't decided on one yet. So today we're actually going to be doing a DLC review for the second pack of DLC, the Golden Gaffe pack. My glasses are really falling down today. So, to address the Golden Gaffe pack, I have to put out a little disclaimer for you guys. Was that my throat? Anyway, so if you guys, this review is for serious Fire Emblem gamers only. Now that doesn't mean a newcomers can't watch this and enjoy it and still decide to buy the DLC, but let me tell you, if you're playing on casual mode, don't bother with this DLC, and you'll see why in a minute. Alright, so let's get right into the first map. The first one is called the Golden Gaffe, after the name of the pack, or really vice versa, I imagine, but regardless, I don't even know what Gaffe means, so if someone knows, post in the comments, because I'm probably going to forget to Google later. Anyway, so the Golden Gaffe is a small side story in the other world about Lissa and Frederick losing their life savings to a bunch of zombies, and then you have to go chasing the zombies down and steal the gold back. And it's a really dumb story, and honestly, all the stories in this pack are dumb, so I'm not really going to go into them too much. They're not really a big point of it, but they actually provide a lot of comedic value, and I was pleasantly surprised at it. Now, the story of these packs is told less through the actual dialogue at the beginning, which is interesting and funny to be sure, but is actually more interesting in the map itself, as we'll get into in a second. So, in each of these three, I'm just going to focus on the Golden Gaffe first. Golden Gaffe, you have a bunch of zombies at the top of the screen, running down to the bottom of the screen. They'll have a bunch of gold on them. If you kill one, you get a bunch of gold. It's that simple. And honestly, the amount of gold you get with this is ridiculous. I think I ran through once killing every single zombie thing, and I got Risen, they're called Risen, and I got in the vicinity of 60 to 70,000 gold. Playing this is just even once or twice is enough to forge any weapon you want over and over again. It's crazy. Anyway, so after you play this map once or twice, you'll never really struggle for gold ever again. So, it's a pretty good value for $2.50, but if you're like me, you'll hesitate to use it more than you need to just because it'll feel cheap to have 1 billion gold sitting around for no reason. Anyway, another cool feature though, as I was saying earlier, the narrative is tied into the actual gameplay. Whenever one of your units fights one of these Risen for the first time, each character, as long as it is a character from the main storyline, will have a unique thing to say to these Risen, like, "Give me back my gold, you stupid faces," or, "Ah, I heard you like vegetables. Well, do you like carrots, perhaps? No? Such a shame. I thought we might get along for a second there. I guess I'll have to kill you." That was Pan, the Togwell rabbit girl thing, and it's just one of the many unique quotes that they'll say over the course of the DLC. Actually, that one's technically in the second DLC, but that I'm going to talk about, but whatever, you get the point. All of the battle conversations are interesting and unique for each of the characters. I was pleasantly surprised at the amount of detail and work they put into this. Anyway, overall, Golden Gaffe is pretty good. Now, as for Exponential Growth, the second in the pack, it has a slightly different map. It's not exactly the same, but it has a very similar theme. Bunch of zombies at the top, run down to the bottom, you kill them, but instead of money, you get experience points, and you get a lot of them. Like, each entombed will generally give a full level up. The entombed are the zombie things. But it depends on how high level. And they have a mixture of low to medium to really powerful entombed. Now, none of them will ever attack you in either exponential growth or the golden Gaffe. But they will fight back if you attack them. So sometimes it could be hazardous, but really they're so weak that usually it won't be a problem and you don't have to worry about dying. Now this makes Exponential Growth an amazing map for grinding, but it still feels cheap to me sometimes. Usually I don't mind, but like when I go through and play on lunatic mode, I'm not going to use it because it's going to feel like I'm cheating through the game when it should be really, really, really difficult. Anyway, so it's a very good value though, and I highly recommend Exponential Growth because it has an even better storyline than the first one, and most of the battle quotes are just as funny or funnier. In addition to the fact that experience is so insanely useful as opposed to gold. Anyway, last map we're going to talk about is Infinite Regalia. Now this one's different from the other two. Now it still has the stupid story but it doesn't have the battle quotes inside of it, which was a major hit for me because those were some of the funniest things about it. Now on the other hand, the story they presented was a lot more intriguing, a lot longer, and better presented overall. So maybe it makes up for that, but I don't know, I still love the battle quotes of each individual character because he added more personality to the characters that you've been working with this entire time instead of focusing just on Crom and my unit who you've been seeing for the entire game. Anyway, but the rest of the map is pretty good, and you're pitted against 36 of the most powerful warriors you will ever face. Now, they're not undefeatable or anything, but you're going to have some pretty high level promoted units to even attempt to take on these guys. And the trick of it is you have to get all the way through the map before two thieves on either side. I'm not making a hang out loose side. I'm there's one on each. What, you get it. There's two thieves and they're running up to steal the stuff in the treasure chests. Now the stuff in the treasure chests are random rare items, and these items are really powerful. They're Regalia, like the most powerful weapons in the game. And this is one of the only places you can actually get them. So, in a sense, it's worth it on its own, but it can be very frustrating as well. Now, also, if you beat the DLC, regardless of whether you get any of the treasure, you do also get the silver card, which halves the prices at all the shops. Not for forging items, just for buying things, but still, it's a nice bonus. In addition to that, you also get a character from like Fire Emblem 4 or 2 or I don't know. I've never even heard of him, honestly. He's another one of the DLC card things, and like, honestly, I don't care. But I have to say, Infinite Regalia is in some ways the best deal of all of them because you get a silver card for sure, you get decent experience from the bad guys, you get rare weapons that you couldn't obtain otherwise, and a pretty good story, so I really can't complain. But when it comes down to it, the one map that I'm going to be playing a whole heck of a lot is Exponential Growth because of its funny quotes, its super helpful experience bonus grinding abilities, and nothing else. That was it, just 2 points. Okay, so as for the price point of this pack, each map is individually $2.50, and the map pack altogether is $6, giving you a savings of $1.50 if you buy the pack, as opposed to all three separately. Note that you're still saving $1 if you buy two and not the third one, so if you really only want two of them, you should buy just the two. What I'm really trying to say is, this is a map pack where you don't necessarily need to buy the pack. In fact, I would advise not buying the pack unless you definitely want all three of them. If you only want two of them, just buy the two. I mean, there's no continuing storyline for all of these. It's just 3 separate events, and there's really no reason to buy the pack unless you're like me and want weapons, money, and experience. If you're going to skip out on one, I would skip out on the money one because you can get money from other places. Now, that being said, it's hard to get really far in the game without unlimited, like in the competitive scene that I've mentioned once or twice. It's hard to get far in that without an unlimited supply of gold. I mean, you do have an unlimited supply. It's just harder to get your hands on, you know. So, anyway, as for the pack in general, I give it a whopping thumbs up. Like, it's great, actually. I've played it way more times than any of the other DLC because it has redeeming value past the first playthrough, which really helps it in my eyes. Like, I'm going to be playing these maps numerous times on every playthrough because of how helpful and utility-oriented they are. Now, that being said, the reason I love them, as opposed to just liking them for what they are the fact that they added on all the fun storyline and character quotes into it as well. Now, lastly, I feel I should mention, though, that, as I said earlier in the review, if you're playing on casual and not really worried about making super powerful characters for the later DLC and whatnot, you probably won't be watching this video, but even if you are, this probably isn't the DLC for you. Maybe the infinite money one would be to your liking, but the rest of it really isn't going to help you. You won't even be able to beat the enemies in Infinite Regalia without playing in the Exponential Growth level for quite a long time. So, anyway, it's really not worth it for the more casual players. For the advanced players, though, this is a great deal. Anyway, guys, I'm XepherGames/Jake. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to post any suggestions you have for characters for me to do a guide on in Fire Emblem Awakening. See you guys next time.